president was aware of her email address, he traded emails with her. That shouldn't be a surprise that the President of the United States is going to trade emails with the Secretary of State. But the President was not aware of the fact that this was a personal email server and that this was the email address that she was using exclusively for all her business. The President was not aware of that until that had been more widely reported.
Yes, so we heard the president, his explanation. He wasn't aware of it until we all found out. Same thing with the IRS scandal, same thing with the flyover of the Statue of Liberty in '08. There's a laundry list of things that he just found out about, like you and I. Joining us now is Ed Klein, former editor-in-chief of the New York Times Magazine, New York Times best-selling author of the Blood Feud. Blood Feud is what it's called. There it is on the screen. The Obamas versus the Clintons. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you,
Always
Steve.
good to have you. All right, so the latest revelation today, and I want to play Jen Psaki. Finally, after 14 days, the State Department has given an answer to the same AP reporter who day after day says, did Hillary sign the separation agreement? Did Hillary sign the separation agreement? And here's what they came up with today. Let's watch.
Well, we have reviewed Secretary Clinton's official personnel file and administrative files and do not have any record of her signing the OF 109. In addition, after looking into their official personnel files, we did not locate any record of either of her immediate predecessors signing this form. It's not clear that this form is used as part of a standard part of checkout across the federal government or even at the State Department, so we're certainly looking into that.
You're not sure that she did, or you're still not sure whether she did or didn't, or does this mean?
I think we're fairly certain she
Okay.
did not. We
So
don't
she
have
did
record
not.
of it.
I think we're fairly certain she did not. We don't have a record of it. Louis Gohmert called it Clinton speak.
It's what depends on what certain means.
Yes. I mean, how is this possible, and what does this mean for Hillary going forward here? I mean, this doesn't end it just because she didn't commit perjury by signing the document.
I want to make 2 points about that.
Yes.
One, according to my sources, now we're talking about State Department, White House, and Clinton sources, 3 separate sources. The President of the United States was, number one, aware she was using a private server, a private email, and either he or his people told her and warned her not to.
Really?
So that is a lie. This is not true. That he was kind of vaguely aware, but
You're referring to back what we heard Josh Earnest say at the beginning.
That's right.
Yeah, before we played the Psaki soundbite
Yeah.
here. So Obama knew, so much so that
they said,
that they warned Hillary.
You've got to be using the government server.
Yeah.
And she didn't.
And of course
number
she didn't.
one.
Yeah.
Number two, as far as the separation agreement is concerned, classic Clinton avoidance. She knew what she was doing when she used the server to begin with, which meant that nobody could get it. And number two, when she was asked or knew she was supposed to sign a separation agreement, she didn't, because that separation agreement requires you to then turn over all your emails to the State Department.
So you think she purposely did not, or she purposely did not do it?
Yes.
All right. So she did not do it. I want to. It's an interesting, because of course it's all addressed in your book, Blood Feud. Does Barack Obama want to see Hillary Clinton become the next president, and is it really up to Barack Obama in that White House, or does Valerie Jarrett call the shots?
Well, I think Barack Obama and Valerie Jarrett are on the same page.
Okay.
And she is the second most important person in the White House, but he's still the president. They do not want to see the Clintons, plural, Bill and Hillary, back in the White House, because if you get Hillary back in, you get Bill back in. One of the reasons that they debated the question of making her Secretary of State in the first place was because they knew she was married to Bill Clinton, and that he was going to be trouble. And they made him sign an agreement, literally a codicil of some sort, that he would not make speeches about foreign policy while she was Secretary of State.
However, he was able to take money for the Clinton Foundation from countries while she was Secretary of State.
Which he was not supposed to do, of course. I would say flatly, based on not my opinion but my reporting, that the Obamas would want almost anybody as the next president other than Hillary Clinton. That's how deep this blood feud goes.
So how do they go about it? Do they undermine her by leaking things out, or do they throw their support behind someone else who might, O'Malley or someone who might come out?
I think they do both. As you know, my reporting indicates that Valerie Jarrett instigated not one, but a half a dozen investigations of Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. Her expense accounts, disbursement of funds, connections with foreign leaders, possible collusion with the Clinton Foundation, all of that.
I want you to stay. We're going to come right back to that when we come back with part two, more with Ed Klein, and we're going to talk about those investigations and what became of them, and you know, and what might become of them. Are they going to be made public, etc.? Don't go away. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax Television. We're coming back. Back with Ed Klein, author of Blood Feud, the Obamas versus the Clintons. Okay, so you broke news today right on the show saying that Barack Obama, and you have three sources, said Barack Obama not only knew of Hillary's private email, but had her warned, either personally or had her warned, that she better stop using only a personal email, and she refused. Before we left, you talked about Valerie Jarrett.
Yes.
Conducting investigations of Hillary while she was Secretary of State regarding finances and other matters. Elaborate on that.
Well, you know, the midterm elections, as you may recall, a lot of the people in the Democratic Party refused to run with Barack Obama next to them. And Valerie Jarrett and Obama believed it was the Clintons who were telling these people not to be seen with the president.
Now, let me stick up for Hillary for a second here. I don't think they needed anybody to tell them. I mean, he was very unpopular. They ran away from him.
But the congressional Democrats, who do not like Obama at all, as we all know, this is not just me saying this, have been speaking more to the Clintons than they have to the White House.
Okay, so paranoia sets in whether or not it's true. So Valerie Jarrett does what?
So Valerie Jarrett hears about this, believes that the Clintons are trying to wrest the Democratic Party away from Obama for the last 2 years of his term, and says, not in these words, but, okay, I'll show them. And she, with the president's approval, instigates a 6 different investigations of Hillary Clinton in the State Department while she was Secretary of State. Now, the first shoe to drop has been the email scandal.
Okay.
We don't know what's coming next, but we do know that these are ongoing investigations about Hillary's time there, expense account, disbursement of funds, all that kind of stuff.
Wow, and maybe donations to the Clinton Foundation
I think
as well?
that would be the biggest bomb of all.
So you're telling me that Valerie Jarrett and or Barack Obama, but Valerie Jarrett maybe with or separate from, but probably knowingly of Barack Obama, have these bombshells, these shoes waiting to drop on Hillary Clinton as the campaign rolls along, if she declares.
And
does she know this? I mean, she knows this too, Hillary?
Well, the Clintons know this, and that's why I have that source in the Clinton camp that said they're out to get us. They know they're out to get us.
So does this influence Hillary, her decision to run? Because if she goes away, presumably they won't drop the shoes.
She ain't going to go away, believe me. And it seems to me quite clear that Barack Obama was in on this. So it wasn't a big secret to the President of the United States that Valerie Jarrett, I don't think she would do anything like that without his approval.
Right. All right, so you don't know what other areas, finances, et cetera, but you don't know for sure.
That's right.
And you don't know if in fact she has anything of substance from those investigations either, right?
Based on my reporting, I assume, and I'm not absolutely certain about this, that John Kerry, the Secretary of State currently, has to know about these investigations. I can't imagine that Valerie Jarrett would not inform the current Secretary of State that these investigations are going on. So we have to assume that this Secretary of State knows that the previous Secretary of State is being investigated. Why? There's some talk that John Kerry
wants to run.
That's right.
I can't even take it. Okay. Michelle Obama, what role does she play in any of this? I mean, how separate are the lives of Barack and Michelle Obama? I mean, they fly on separate planes, they go on separate vacations. It appears that they're pretty separate.
They live a very separate life personally, but in the White House, as I've reported, Michelle and Valerie often meet in the family quarters of the White House at night. Barack goes off to his own private room often watches SBN and, the football games, the
Yeah,
baseball
yeah.
games. And these two women often talk during the night over a bottle of Chardonnay about various people in the state, in the White House, policy and things
So
like that.
Michelle influences Valerie Jarrett?
I think it's hard to say who's influencing
Right,
who.
right,
I think there's an agreement between these two women, and then of course Barack Obama gets it from both of them.
Do you think, knowing what you know of the Obamas and Jared and the whole setup, you think we've seen, he used to like to say, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right.
And we know he loves his pen and his phone and his executive order. Do you think he's nearly finished turning things upside down?
No, I think as far as he's concerned, he's just beginning.
That's what I'm afraid of, because he's only got 2 years.
That's right.
And he has nobody to answer to.
No.
That's the very scary part. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And if anybody hasn't read Blood Feud yet, the Obamas versus the Clintons, boy, it was never a better time to pick it up and read it, and especially with what you've just heard about the infighting and the relationships, and it's all in the book. And Hillary should be announcing pretty soon if she's going to run. Thank you, Ed. Great
Thank
to
you,
see you.
Steve.
All right, folks, when we come back, we'll be joined by the former Israeli ambassador to the United States, also former deputy foreign minister to Israel. Danny Ayalon will join us, and we'll get his take on the very close elections and results in Israel. The results pouring in. We'll bring you the latest. Don't go away.